Hello, my fellow people of the plant. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of the Cannabinoid Connect podcast, your favorite podcast that includes industry-facing conversations with the industry's leading experts that aim to educate and inform the public regarding the plant's endless benefits. My guest today is Glenn Holland. He's the CEO of the Human Connection and the inventor of the Ganjagrid plant vibration trainer. Mr. Glenn Holland, how are you?
I'm awesome, Kevin. Thanks for having me on the show, man.
I love it, man. For those just listening, Glenn is sitting behind his Ganjagrid. Is it the plant vibration trainer, which we'll get into, right? But that's the name of it. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Yeah. So you guys, it looks awesome. For those just listening, he's got these awesome, healthy looking plants that are, stretching to the light, and Glenn is sitting right behind it. So, Glenn, tell us about yourself, man. What's your background? How did you become so passionate about the cannabis industry and producing such a product like, the Ganjagrid plant vibration trainer?
Yeah, perfect, Kevin. And again, thanks for having me on. And it's Friday. It's towards the end of the day for me, so I love having these conversations with somebody right before my weekend because it really kicks it off. And so thank you again.
Of course.
Yeah. So for me, Kevin, I'm 50 years old. I'm from New Jersey, and my first interaction with cannabis was in 1985. So 35 years ago, I was introduced to partaking in recreational cannabis. And incidentally, that was the first year that I popped my first seed as well. And through my high school career and into a bit of college, I was pretty much I hate to use this word, but I was a stoner. I was an everyday guy that smoked every day. You wake and bake every day, and then met my wife, and everything kind of changed, right?
Did she not approve at
It's not,
first?
it's not that she doesn't approve. She's from Ireland, and Ireland is as you know, is a bit more of a drinking culture more than a smoking
Sure.
culture. So at that point, when I met her and we started dating and all these things, I became what I call, and I coined this, and maybe somebody else did, a weed end warrior. So, instead of the weekend warrior that everybody talks, it's a weed end warrior. So I became a weed end warrior, pulled back on the everyday use and just started using it on the weekends.
Well, and I would imagine kind of moderating the consumption like that, you gain some kind of newfound respect for the plant. Some people go on what's called tolerance breaks or tea breaks. So I would imagine because your tolerance was so high, being an everyday user, moving to that, you probably got a better high and really kind of enjoyed it more.
Yeah,
Right?
that's correct. It really enhanced my consumption feelings, the euphoria, the creativity, which for me, cannabis was never a anxious kind of thing. It was a creative thing. Um, and so it's funny that you say that because I had this other idea called Buzzlog, which we can talk about later when we get into some other things. But I always talked about, like, whenever you are, consuming cannabis, you come up with these great ideas, and then because of the short-term memory, they're gone. So
That's why I have my notes up. Every time I think of something, I write it down or I'll put it in a tweet draft, because you're right. I mean, you got so many thoughts and creativity that's flowing. That you want to capture that.
yeah, so the Buzzlog was a thing that I was trying to kick off as. It was an app that when you had one of these ideas, you were able to log your buzz
Wow,
in
that's
an app,
awesome.
and,
Yeah.
and then you could sell it to marketing people, like the people that use that kind of data for marketing, and there'd be tiers and everything like that. Didn't happen. It's all good. And somebody else could probably take that now from, from this conversation.
Right. Well, hey, I mean,
Um,
that's what entrepreneurship's all about, man. You try something and then you move on to the next thing. And it's obvious because you've moved into an area where, like we talked about earlier, you've invented the Ganjagrid plant vibration trainer. But, from what I've kind of understood from your background is that you're a lung cancer survivor, right? So did you find as you consumed cannabis as an early age, you were regularly using during that time of having lung cancer? Did you look to the plant also for relief in that way also?
Yeah, so great question there, Kevin. Like I said, weed end warrior for the rest of my pretty much life, until now, and still till now. But so in February of 2018, I was working for John Deere, corporate, six-figure job, and I coughed up blood one morning
Oh
on
my
a
God.
nice sized loogie. And like when that happens, you see all the movies and all this thing. When somebody coughs up blood, it's like, death is at your door.
Right.
Yeah, and so right at that point, it's a little funny little side kick here. I went to see my doctor immediately after that happened, and my general practitioner, he was on vacation, so I had to see a stand-in doctor, and she was a nurse, and just guess what her name was.
Mary Jane?
You got it, man. Mary,
Really?
Mary Jane. I am not kidding.
Nice.
I am not kidding. So, I mean, it was just like the stars were aligning, right?
Wow.
Yeah.
Serendipitous, huh? Yeah.
Yes. Yes. So Kevin, during the whole battle and cancer treatment and all these things, I shared 2-minute videos on LinkedIn because LinkedIn is my preferred social media platform,
Sure.
and I gained 25,000 followers real quick just because, people were, interested in the journey that I was on. This,
Wow.
this opinion, this doctor, this treatment, this that, this that.
So
Um,
you were just being transparent with all of those meetings that you were having, consulting with doctors about your condition
yes,
and
sir.
maybe talking about cannabis as a treatment option.
Yes, 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 sir. So it was
Wow.
every day 2-minute videos. But I was stage 3A, which says basically that if you don't do something now, you're screwed. Like it will metastasize to other parts of your body.
Right.
So I was on a time crunch, and I went with the normal, not normal, because I did get on a clinical trial, immunotherapy, surgery, chemotherapy, all those pieces, diet, exercise, positivity, baby, because a
Right.
positive outlook, it just makes
Mm-hmm.
it happen.
That's important.
Um,
Yeah, absolutely. You got to keep good spirits.
Yep. Yeah. So during those times of me showing the videos, there was a woman that saw me on LinkedIn and said, "I love your story. I'm an angel. I'm a FICO angel. And I like to give full extract cannabis oil to patients, cancer patients around the country. And your story moved me, so I want to give you some." And I'm like, what the hell? I mean, I'm going to throw everything I can at this, right?
Right.
Okay.
Right. Yeah.
So she gave me some, and I went on a 60-day regime of full extract cannabis oil during the whole chemo immunotherapy. No, I didn't tell my doctor I was doing it. I didn't care. North Carolina, got to be careful with that.
At that time, were they prescribing you other medications, and were you just kind of saying or pretending that you were taking it, or did you just say I'm not taking it? Like,
No,
how did you?
yeah. So you start hitting the opioids and the other components that come along with doctors prescribing pharma, right? Big pharma.
Right.
Um, and so that's when it, for me, I can't say that. I mean, I fully believe that FICO had a piece in the treatment, but it really hit home for me during um, the opioids when I flushed them down the fucking toilet. Excuse my
Right.
language. I don't know if I'm allowed to
No,
say.
that's fine. Yeah, say what
Uh,
you want.
yeah, I was able to flush them down the fucking toilet. And then during chemotherapy, it helped with my appetite. It helped me just as good as I could be me, because as
Right.
you know, chemotherapy is poison, and it's just the worst. Right? So,
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I've had family members that have had cancer, even passed from cancer, and I'm fully aware of what chemotherapy does to the body. It's just so terrible. And so you flush those opioids down the toilet, and you thought this is the moment where I'm just going to stick to cannabis, right? Because I mean, the side effects alone, I mean, there's no comparison, right, when it comes to the detriment that opioid addiction can do to your body as opposed to abusing cannabis. in its
Yeah,
most
that's
extreme.
correct. It was the turning point, not the turning point. I mean, I kind of knew what it did before all this, but to have that personal experience with it, just like, sent it over the edge, Kevin. You know what I mean?
I do. Yeah. So I mean, so you undergo chemo. I mean, like how long are you going through chemotherapy, and like, how long is this battle?
Yeah, so February of 2018 is when it started, and chemo started in August and went through to January. And chemotherapy is not one of those types of drugs where you feel terrible right away. It accumulates in your body. August I started with the chemo, started to feel bad, and then it just really kicked my ass towards the end in December, January.
Right. That was kind of the North Star. I mean, the silver lining of it all is that you have removed all the cancer from your body, and now it's just a matter of recovering at that point, really, getting your strength back, right?
Yeah, that's yeah. Let me tell you, that was difficult. But here's the kicker, Kevin. Um, in December of 2018, when I was at the worst of my worst, I mean, like I was just on death's door. I felt like I took my family, or my wife, she drove. I couldn't drive. Took our family, which I had three teenage sons, high teenage sons, to Washington D.C., where we, you know, went around to all the museums. We'd never brought them there. And living in North Carolina, I actually like this device. So when I made the first device, I tested it A versus B and saw a visible difference in the fact that the one that had vibration was shorter, fatter, and had thicker stalks than the one that did not.
And that was like complete, like, controlled test where like you use the same nutrient, talk about, walking into their greenhouses or their.
Cowboy and Indian show like it is in the United States. There's a facility in Canada that's testing it commercially, and then I've got another facility in California, Las Vegas, and then I also have a few universities around the area that are starting to come around and do some testing as well, Kevin.
So, and that was going to be my question. So you mentioned patent pending. So no major cannabis company, US MSO is growing with this type of technology right now. Is that right?
That's correct.
Wow. And
Now,
how, go ahead.
I was going to say, if it were up to me, I am not. I'm a quality over quantity guy. I'm a guy that, John Deere, and you know what I mean. I'd rather have quality over quantity. So here's a little twist for you, and all these MSOs and all these companies that are trying to keep people from growing it themselves personally, right? This plant right here that has been vibrating with my heart, the lawmaker, and talk about cancer and this plant and your right to grow it yourself. You try to tell me that I can't do that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I think everyone should have the right to have at least, a personal grow for themselves. And we've seen some states do that. Others have nixed that idea altogether. Um, and it just bubbles up to the more interesting thing of like where this industry is headed, right? And what's going to happen as we all wait for federal legalization. But I'm in support of that. I agree that we should have the right to grow personal if we want.
So I've got a couple other statements I'd like to just mention real quick.
Sure.
Okay, so the holy grail for this in a commercial MSO configuration application, to me, not only the yield part is getting more faster because they appear to mature faster as well, which means you can get more harvest in per year. Um, but there's also the IPM side of it. Kevin, you know what IPM stands for?
No.
Okay, IPM stands for Integrated Pest Management. So what that means is, what is your program to prohibit or eradicate those spider mites, thrips, aphids that could potentially decimate your crop?
And the Ganjagrid plant vibrator does that. It removes the pesticide or the pests, also the bugs.
Okay, so I want you to, it's not, I'm still working on it, but I'm
Okay.
just mentioning it, okay? And the reason I'm mentioning it is because I'm working with people all around the world to get the right hertz frequency wavelengths durations, decibels, that would stop a spider mite from procreating. And when I mean that, what I mean by that is Mr. Male spider mite and Miss Female spider mite contact each other how, Kevin?
Through conception, they have sex.
But they have to find each other first. And
They have
how
to.
do they do that?
Is that with noise? I don't know.
With vibration. Yeah,
Okay.
vibration. So there are studies out there that talk about substrate-borne vibration. And this thing vibrates the whole plant. And if we can find the right recipe to stop those pests from finding each other and procreating, then you have an all organic way of pest management.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's you're looking to kind of solve for that solution right now.
Yeah, that's correct. I'm reaching out to entomologists around the United States and the world, trying to find the right mix. And my hope is that by selling this product, the grower can go to a library of sounds, a library of music, a library of hertz and all these things online, and be able to pull down those particular sound files and use them as a defense mechanism against pests as well as the health part of it, which we've proven.
That would be really cool to have a database of all that where it's like a simple app upgrade. Boom, you just upgrade the new software update. You get that, you can access those files if you need it based off the pests that you're dealing with. Yeah, that would be awesome, man. So you're just in talks right now? Are you far along with that? Or I mean, where do you see that? Like when that will launch?
Yeah, that's going to be a whiles out, Kevin, in Cary, right? But that's where great things happen, right?
Right, right.
So until I make the right connection or the right choices with who I work with, I'm just doing it on my own. By that, it's going to take a while for me to get there.
Right. Well, maybe, hopefully, someone, maybe that's an angel investor or somebody that's interested in learning more about your product will reach out after hearing this,
Yep.
that could be cool. So Glenn, I want to ask you, pull out your crystal ball, and in Glenn's perfect world, what does the future of the cannabis industry look like to you?
Yeah. Well, the cannabis industry to me should be a place where there is no regulations because it is a plant and anybody should be able to grow it. Anybody should be able to consume it. It should not be prohibited. People should not be in jail over it. It should be um, a, a medicine, a connector, a means for people to join with one each other without persecution. Um, and I feel that it is a much better um, just venue for people to use over alcohol. Alcohol sucks compared to cannabis. I'm sorry, I'm just going to say that. But and beyond that, the whole hemp side of it, the fiber side of it, the oil side of it, the paper side of it. It's just unbelievable what this plant can do for this planet. And it's just because of the greedy anslingers and the nicks and the, just the moronic people that were in place, the money hungry, greedy fuckers, excuse my language, that were in place that caused this to happen, But then again, I'll say this, thank you, because I wouldn't probably be devising this device if it hadn't happened. Who knows, Like,
Everything happens for a reason, for sure. Yeah. And I mean, I can sense your frustration, and I can relate. I mean, it's kind of pushed us or set us back in a lot of ways, with the last 100 years of prohibition, due to greed and the protecting of certain industries and personal interests and things like that. But, we're seeing now that cannabis support is polling higher than ever. And, conversations like these will continue to move the needle, Glenn. And I really appreciate your passion and your background and your story, and for sharing it with us today. And I want to leave the floor to you. I mean, is there anything else that you want to leave the audience with before we wrap up?
Yeah, absolutely, Kevin. As long as we have a few more minutes, that'd be great. So a couple other things. I have a lot of people always talk to me and they always say, well, my oscillating fan does the same thing that your device does. And I did a Mythbusters video to disprove this, because my device vibrates the whole plant, including the roots. So the roots get stimulation as well. So those people that are having living soils, nematodes, all the good stuff in good soil, vibration helps them be stimulated as well. So this works much better than an oscillating fan. And then I have a lot of people talk to me about the airborne sound. And again, same kind of thing. This device is like a whole plant, whole body vibrator. So it does much better at stimulating the plant organically than anything else out there that you've got, bar none. Okay, just to get that out of the way. So Kevin, I would like to demonstrate the device. And again, for the people that are on, can see the video, great, you'll be able to see this. Those of you that are not, you can always go to my website, ganjagrid.com, www.ganjagrid.com, and see them. I have lots of videos on YouTube and so forth. But I'm going to go ahead and turn this on and try to not talk or move around, because as you can see, as I'm talking, it's moving around a little bit. So
Okay.
just bear with me just a second here.
Is it an app that you download on your phone?
No, this is just YouTube. I'm connected in through through an aux cord.
Oh.
Okay, now sit tight a second, and I'm going to be quiet, and you should be able to see it moving.
Okay.
Now I can see it. I don't, you have to look really close, but I'm gonna stand up now and grab the camera and move it in close for you. Okay.
I can see the leaves shaking a little bit. Yeah. Let's see. All right. For those listening, let's see. Let me change my view here. Oh, yeah. You can see that the individual leaves are kind of just floating up and down because they're being vibrated. It's mechanical vibration. Yeah. I can't hear anything though. I can just see it.
No, and that's the beauty of it, Kevin. This right now, I'm not playing any music. All I'm playing is a hertz.
Huh. That's
Now it's kind
cool.
of difficult, and the frame rate of a camera is not like I'm watching it. It's vibrating a lot more than
I
what
can see
I
it.
play, like meditation type music.
That's got to be relaxing.
Totally is. Yes. It's gonna take me a second. I'm just getting Spotify open.
If you have a demo, I can also share it as well for our audience on your web. I think I saw one on your website.
Yeah, you did. You did, I'm sure. Um, okay, I'm not seeing it work. It doesn't matter. Anyways, so you saw that part. I'm going to
Yeah,
turn it around.
I'll include that demo in the YouTube description box so people can see that, so they can look out for an actual demo of how it works and what it sounds like and all that.
Yeah. So this is a smaller version of the device,
Okay,
and
Glenn, once again, I don't know if a lot of people are, if they're listening. So if we want to describe what this is that a speaker or
so this is a surface transducer, Kevin, that works the same as the device I just told you about, and all it does is mechanically vibrate a plate that then sends the transmission of vibration through some rods and then contacts another plant just at the stalk. So this whole plant then will get, the whole plant gets vibrated in a row crop type of application, Kevin. Does that make sense?
it does? Yes.
Okay, so that's one configuration. And then I have to turn my computer around so I can see this here, so I can see what I'm doing. This is a 2x2 scrog type of system. A lot of people, and so folks that can see this, this takes the place of your plastic netting that you use for canopy management. And so it's a solid scrog that you can reuse over and over again. And it's designed so you can fit your solo cups right into them, so you can vibrate young plants in here as well.
Like starters.
Yes, like starters. And then if you have tissue cultures, again, if it's a tapered 4-inch square, they fit right into the square. Okay.
Nice.
And then if you do any germination in water, you can also germinate your seeds in water on here, and it actually helps the water break through the seed hull. The vibration helps the water break through the seed hull. So even if you have old seeds, or if you want to do them faster, this also helps with germination, Kevin.
Nice.
Okay. And then finally, just one piece, and then I'll come back to me. My grow tent, which I was talking about before, I have the main chamber, which the plant that I was showing before has, they're about day 20 of flower, but I also have clones down the bottom. And then once those clones are done, they'll be moved up to the top. But this little vibration speaker down here has my heartbeat, so I can go ahead and turn that on.
Wow. That's a solid heartbeat, my man.
Yeah, man. And then, so those are the plants that are in there. And so they're getting my heartbeat as well. So one other piece to that, Kevin, is that for the folks that want to know about this, there's another term called, let me turn that off so it's not too loud. Yeah. So there's another term called thigmopriming, Kevin. And thigmopriming states that if you mechanically stimulate a small plant when it's young, and then it will remember that. So its offspring will then also remember that. So if you are thigmopriming a plant when it's small, then when it has offspring, they will also be small.
Wow. So that affects it for different generations to come, basically.
That's correct.
Wow.
And let me tell you something, man. When I consume my bud, that I've been vibrating with my heartbeat, or I'm telling you, the personal connection I have with it is just unreal. It's just I can't. It's one of those unworldly things. And then also when I pollinate my females with males that have been vibrated, now I have seeds that have been injected with my motherfucking heartbeat, man.
Right. Exactly. I mean, you don't get more personal than that, right?
Yeah.
Well, where can people find this product? Like, where can they purchase it online? I mean,
yeah. So online, look, it's Ganjagrid. Ganjagrid is the name. So it's ganjagrid.com. It's ganja.grid on Instagram, Ganjagrid Facebook, Ganjagrid YouTube. Just put in Ganjagrid. It'll pop up everywhere, man.
perfect. Well, hey, this was super new subject matter to me. I know it was for most of the audience. It's really interesting and it's really innovative what you're doing. And I hope to see it, you succeed and to see more companies adopt this type of practice, because if you're looking for personalization and growing, I mean, what more can you get than having your own heartbeat help with the process,
Yeah, and in the future, Kevin, if I can get fitness trackers, if we continue down this path and prove that my heartbeat stimulates plants to grow better, and that a raised heartbeat, an increased heartbeat, will do the same, and you tie this into your fitness tracker, then every time I work out, my motherfucking plants are working out.
That's right. You could do it in real time. Yeah, that's right. Wow. Awesome, Glenn. Well, hey, thanks again for sharing all this information and your insights, man. And best of luck to you. I'll be.
Pleasure, man. I just started using Twitter not too long ago, and you're one of the guys that popped up to me. So I really, really appreciate your letting me on and letting me be a part of your life here, man. Thank you so much.
Of course, man. We're all part of the plant community, and we want to get these stories out. So, thanks again, Glenn, and we'll be in touch. All right.
You got it, Kevin. Thank you.
All right, and thank you all for listening. Bye.